Um, I'm gonna show you a couple things. I plan on making a couple videos of giving you the outlay of the apartment, the way I've set it up. Um, but I remember we talked a bit about network security and how somebody would go about hacking or penetration testing, which are just what we call white hackers. The hackers that work for companies that get paid to essentially find holes into um, security. What I'm about to show you is the programs and some of the things that I would use, or a person like me would use, um, to get through network security. In this case, what I'm going to demonstrate, or at least I'm not going to actually hack it, but I'm going to, because it takes forever to do, to actually crack like in this case, let's say a Wi-Fi um, passcode or like a Wi-Fi security key. The key that would allow you essentially to get on somebody else's network. The reason why I think it's interesting now is because until the 6th, I don't have any internet coming into this house, so I've been using nothing but a phone to check, email and other things. But it'd be nice. But I've done this before, and I think we talked about when I told you it took upwards of 3 days to actually, crack a Wi-Fi password. Um, that I'm sure that would be the same now. And I think what I'll show you and what you'll see is that these new routers that you have in your house or anyone else is now pretty hip to the game and being hacked in the way that that I would do this, and you have to find the choice router. And what I mean by the choice one is an older router, one that does not detect the the exploit that I'm about to show you how to use. The reason I'm even doing this is because I feel like we talked about it, and maybe you don't. Maybe you might want to see, kind of what's involved. As you can see, I'm in Windows 10, and this is a new version. I'm a beta tester for Windows 10, which isn't even out yet. It won't be out until October, I think. Maybe, yeah, I think that's the time. Um, but this is Windows 10, and it's an operating system, obviously. I mean, it's running here off the laptop right now. I'm not even using the black box, and I haven't even set up the black box yet. It's still sitting in the bedroom and waiting to be deployed, as I would call it. But the laptop is more than capable of doing what I'm showing you. So what I'm going to essentially do is open up a program called VMware Workstation. And what this does is it allows me to run an operating system on top of an operating system without having to partition my hard drive and install this locally. And as you can see by the name, this is a security version of Linux. I remember when I know we talked about Linux, or at least you've heard me say the word Linux. The only people that would be using this version of Linux are security experts or hackers. Every tool that is about to get booted up here within this version of Linux would only be used for hacking or penetration testing, things like that. Over here to the side, you can see I've dedicated 4.3 gigabytes of my internal memory. I only have 8 gigabytes of this laptop, so it's kind of a lot. It's gonna, oh, and then I know you can't see it, but I'm using a very high DVA gain Wi-Fi adapter that is going to sniff out the networks around me. And I'm going to go ahead and start this now. And it's going to load. This is Linux, Kali Linux. There are many versions of Linux, but this one in particular is dedicated and very specific to a certain type of, programs and things that you would use for network security and penetration testing, or for all the hackers out there. I used an earlier version of this to hack PayPal, how I eventually got my felony. It wasn't by using this that I got my, I wasn't caught because of using this program, even though this program, this version of Linux is what I used to get access to PayPal. I got login. Login is root. And it'll take a couple seconds here to open up. Alright. So, one thing I want to remind you, although this looks like a version, like kind of a Windows-based or maybe Mac thing, it's a GUI, has a mouse, and I can click on, it's a GUI. It has this cool Windows feature. Almost anything that anyone would use for it is actually in a command prompt, and a command line tool, and everything that I've ever used this for is always done in this. And so it involves typing, and it involves actually knowing what you're doing. You can't just drag and drop things and copy and paste. Well, no, I use a little bit of copy and paste. In fact, let's see if my command. No. I need to copy something from Reaver, which is a program that the program's called Reaver. And I need to grab a command, the command you'll see I use because I can manipulate it. But there's a very generic, and it's just because of the fact I don't remember it half the time, because there's some switches involved, like that's a Reaver switch. But I think I'll just use this Reaver switch for now. And let's see if okay, cool. I'm going to change this to 3 and put this away for now, because that'll have to be changed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to see that my Wi-Fi adapter, that high gain DBA adapter that I use, that's connected to the laptop right now, is actually available. And I'm going to check that by checking, and this is it right here, and it's not connected, so I'm going to go ahead and connect it. And then I'm going to check, I'm going to check a couple things, but so it says, so I'm going to do a quick command to make sure that it's available, and it sometimes isn't, but hopefully it will be. I'm going to use a command to check that, and normally in Windows you would use like a command called ipconfig, which wouldn't work in in this version. In this version of Linux, it's called wsconfig. Okay, it doesn't like that for some reason. this. Um, see what I have available. I can't believe it didn't work because it's been a long time. IW config or Alright, I'm gonna clear this and go check. And then make sure that command's right. So I think I have it wrong. And for WP. Fuck is the command? Well, well, this is okay. So I wrote this, by the way. I'm just using it as an example to remember. Oh, this is IW config. Isn't that what I fucking put? Oh, no. Well, I had that all wrong. Okay, there we go. So at the top, you see we have E0, which would be your Ethernet port. Nothing's connected to it right now. But in the middle there, between low, or LO, we have WLAN 0. That is the card, the Wi-Fi adapter that we're going to be using, and it's giving you a bunch of information about it. So I'm going to use a few commands here to start it. So you can see here it's going to put in the monitor mode enabled on LAN 0. That's a good thing. But you can see up here it has a few things that it's bitching about that it wants me to kill the processes on. So I'm going to kill this process real quick by typing in kill command. And I'm going to use the PID code to kill it. 3212. And then 3308. And then 4137. And then 4140. Oh, whatever. Alright. Let me use a quick command, and this is going to be the interesting part here. So the Wi-Fi adapter is set up now to what they call promiscuous mode. So essentially it's in the mode where it can sniff packets, sniff information off of other networks that are around them. And I'm going to use a quick command to see which networks are available for me to hack.